Yeah, we going up, we going crazy, going bonkers. Produced by Ziggy, Zay Ticky, believe that.
It ain't peaches, it'll deceive you, boy, believe me. What you know about a jungle made with nothing but semen. No creepy crawlers, just heathens that prey on your weakness. Smell the slightest hint of fear, and the stainless you'll eat it. Gang bangers that greet your test on their face like Weezy. Pouring milk by the ounce, walking around looking sleepy. I'm from a town, no integrity, a broken city, disrupted. I know niggas who once were real, who now turning into sucks. When it comes to murder, it's nothing. Rallos get pulled over scuffles. Bumpy road around this motherfucker, your life means nothing. It ain't peaches. Niggas walking around with no feelings, with a chip on their shoulder, saying the world don't feel us. Trying to earn them some millions so they can split with they niggas. I know cats that died broke because they lost all ambition. When it comes up to get
Welcome back to another edition of More to Live For. We're right back on this beautiful segment, Queens of the City. We're fortunate enough to be up to volume 12 now. Have a special young lady with me tonight. I want to let her introduce herself and tell you what it is that she does, and we're going to go from there. How you doing this evening, ma'am?
All right, I'm doing well. My name is Lisa Bond Davis. I am currently an 8th grade social studies teacher in Wake County. I grew up in northern Pitt County area, went to Pactolus Elementary, Welcome Middle School, North Pitt High School, ended up graduating from J.H. Rose High School, but yeah, I've been around that community for a long time.
Okay, cool. So like growing up, like, did you have it set in your mind that you wanted to be a teacher or get into that profession or anything dealing with school?
So I've been, I guess, good at school for a long time. I was kind of nerdy, kind of quiet, but I thought I wanted to do the whole sports medicine thing. And I don't know if you remember, I was like doing sports medicine for North Pitt's football team for a long time. And then I figured out that wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. I saw blood up close for the first time and I pretty much fainted. So I realized that maybe that wasn't quite the right route for me. But I think it was somewhere around my junior year of high school. I was sitting in a class, kind of bored to death, and thinking of ways that I would do it differently if I had the chance to do it differently. And so from there, I just kind of ran with that thought idea and started looking at colleges that specialize in training teachers. And that's what I decided to do.
That's pretty neat the way you put that. You're sitting in class daydreaming and you're thinking of ways that, not ways necessarily the class itself could be better, but ways that you could make it better. So that's really deep. I kind of want to highlight that part. I like the way you put that. So and it led you to this passion, and you fulfilled it. Could you kind of talk about some of the steps along the way that you took for to reach your goal?
Sure. So around my senior year of high school, I started looking for some scholarships for people who are interested in teaching. And I got the Teaching Fellow Scholarship, which paid for half of your college tuition for you to like take teacher training classes. So I did that throughout college. And I went to UNCG, Greensboro, who's kind of known on the central part of the state for their things that they do in teacher education. So I went there, I graduated, came back home for a year. I taught at Welcome Middle School for my first year out of college, decided that I wanted to get out of the Greenville area for a little bit longer and move to the Raleigh area. And I've just kind of I've been at the same school the past 11 years. And I just recently decided to go back to school to try to get my master's degree in school administration, so that the goal is ultimately, and don't laugh at this, but the goal is ultimately to like start my own school in Pitt County, where kids are just getting more like opportunities that you and I didn't necessarily get. And so that's the long-term goal. But for now, I've been enjoying being in the classroom. I'm looking forward to learning more about how to run a school.
Oh no, that's definitely not nothing to laugh at. That's definitely something I think is realistic. I mean, we see other people doing it, you know, when they're able to make schools or have schools named after them. So somebody from around our area definitely can do it. I have a few questions. I can't quite remember. You said you went to Pactolus, right? Was Pactolus K through 8?
When I went, it was K through 5.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you went to Welcome Middle School.
I did. Yeah,
Okay,
sixth through eighth grade.
that's why I was getting to. So how was it, you know, your first teaching experience being at, you know, your former middle school?
It was the best part about it was going back home and getting to work with teachers who inspired me there. To name a few, the late great Richard Montoya was the band director out there. And I didn't really know how to play a band instrument, but I knew that I wanted to be in his class. You know, like I picked up clarinet randomly one summer and he was like, yeah, I'll teach it to you. And then from there, I was a band nerd. And those were the type of teachers that we had at Welcome Middle School. Ones who didn't mind teaching at, you know, the north of the river school and stuck it out with us. It showed us different things and places. If it hadn't been for, you know, people like Richard Montoya, I would have never seen a college campus. I would have never gotten to go to Busch Gardens and all the things that people like that who are so committed to our community brought to our community. It was just great to be back kind of in the trenches with them and seeing the work that they do and getting to do that for myself.
Awesome, awesome, definitely awesome. So what was it to necessarily I think you touched on a little bit, but what was it that made you, you know, want to, you know, relocate and go to, you know, kind of a bigger area?
When I was teaching at Welcome, I was 21, 22, but didn't really have much of a social life. I had too much information, but I had moved back in with my parents and I wasn't really getting to experience life like I really wanted to. I wasn't meeting a whole lot of people. Wasn't able to keep up with a whole lot of friends. And I think I was missing more of a social aspect to my life, which is important to a young person, you know. So at that time in my head, Raleigh was the place to be and had just more to do, I guess. And so I was looking to still teach, but be in an area that was more, I guess, young people friendly. Or in my head, Greenville is just fine. Like there's plenty to do in Greenville, but in my head, Raleigh was the place to be. So I just was still chasing a dream and wanted the bright lights and bigger city.
Well, I definitely can understand that, and I just kind of wanted to touch on, you know, how important it is sometimes to leave home, and even if you only going an hour or two away, you know, it's still kind of important to experience that, you know, having new surroundings, just mainly seeing if you can make it somewhere that you're not from. So that's really the main thing. So I definitely support that. And like you said, it's stuff to do in Greenville too, but you know, Greenville compared to Raleigh, yeah, we're not really going to do that. So I can definitely understand that. Something that I want to kind of touch on, and I'm going to be very careful talking about this subject. It's definitely a delicate subject, and I'm not any way, shape, or form trying to be political or pushing any political agenda. Definitely nothing like that. But I just want to know, being your age, and I think I'm a few years older than you, but I remember I was in middle school when Columbine first happened. So I kind of want to, you know, briefly touch on, you know, some of your not necessarily experiences, but kind of your thoughts on, you know, being a teacher and, you know, seeing things like this happen in other places.
Yeah, so I think you're maybe 1 or 2 years older than me. I was in sixth grade when Columbine happened. And I just remember seeing it on, there was that news program, Channel One News. I don't know if you remember that, but
Yeah, I remember.
they talked about a bunch of stuff and they showed footage of like kids running out of the school building for Columbine. And my biggest takeaway from everything that has happened recently is that we are still dealing with this issue. Like, how is that 20 something years ago and we're still having the same problems? Like, we're still watching footage of people running out of schools trying to escape gunmen. And I think that's utterly ridiculous. So the next thing, logical step in our heads would be like, how do we solve this? How do we do what we can do to eliminate the problem of kids being worried about their safety at school? And so you have to approach it from a bunch of different angles, and it's going to get political. But I think a good place to start would be making sure our kids are okay, like mentally. I don't know what happens in a person's mind to make them want to go and, hurt little kids, but most of these active shooters have been relatively young people. So something in my head, something has been happening for a long time that maybe people missed, that maybe there were like signs that this was going to happen and there just wasn't the appropriate avenues for getting that person help. So I think we start there. I think we start talking to our kids more, asking them about what's going on in their lives and how can we be, as safe and trusted adults, how can we be of assistance, doing what we can do to not magnify this gun problem, this issue of like glorifying violence any further, and just really digging deep and looking at ourselves and figuring out what are the steps that we individually need to take to make our society better than this.
I totally agree. I totally agree. And like I said, I wasn't really trying to push any political agenda or anything like that. But I just kind of wanted to touch on that because that is your profession. And the day after that tragedy, I was actually doing an interview with another school teacher. So it just kind of for one, I think the profession that you do is very important and very honorable. But when things like this happen, I can't help but to have a little concern about our fellow classmates or just friends in general who might may happen to be teachers. So I just kind of wanted your take on that, and kind of things that you kind of laid it out pretty clear of things that we can do. So I just kind of wanted your feedback on that. But definitely thank you for doing this for me, and I definitely think you are an inspiration to young boys and girls all across the world. Just like you said, you went from being bored in a classroom to figuring out how you can make this class not be bored, and you thinking that with being a teacher in mind. So I just think that's so it's so beautiful, so clever, how you can have a dream and stick it all the way out through. So I just want to thank you for that. And you say you've been in the weight area for 11 years now?
Yeah, I'm finishing up my 11th year of teaching up here. And I've been enjoying it every step of the way. I do want to say to you though, and this whole movement that you created, thank you for like highlighting people who are making a difference in their communities. I think I told you a little bit before that I don't feel like the whole Northern Pitt County area has gotten the spotlight that it needs to get, to show people that, despite of everything that we feel like we were lacking, we have really put out some really capable and brilliant working society people. And it's just been amazing. Like some of the people that you interviewed were like people that we looked up to and who have not disappointed. They have reached back into the community and they keep on doing the tough work that it takes to get more people out and experiencing things. And I just think that's so important. And I wish you the best of luck and keep that going. And hopefully, the work that you're doing is getting more bored kids out of classroom and like showing them that there's more to do in the world. So yeah, that's good.
Definitely, ma'am. And what you're doing, like I said, is definitely an honorable profession. And I just kind of wanted to kind of shine a light on that, and what you do, and to for you to share some of your journey and your motivation behind it. And I think that's just super cool. Every interview that I do, I learn something. So that's another great thing about this journey that I'm on. I'm reconnecting with familiar faces, but I'm definitely learning something. So, and hopefully my viewers, are learning something too. So that's the ultimate goal. So yes, ma'am, I think we're gonna wrap things up right here. But I think this has been a great interview, and like I said, I definitely learned something. And I just want to, wish you and any other teacher that may be watching you know, I just want, well, not wish, but I just want to, kind of share a thought and let you know that, all teachers have been on my mind, not just lately, but in general. Kind of definitely don't want to open this can of worms, but kind of back when COVID first started, just seeing the disconnect from teachers to students, and the positive change that they make in these kids' lives. So I definitely want to, shine a light on you and all teachers and let you know that you're definitely in my thoughts through,
Thank you.
some of these troubled times. So thank you, ma'am, for doing this for me. And we're going to wrap things up. This has been another edition of More to Live For, Queens of the City, Volume 12. We're going to wrap things up like that. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Peace and blessings.
Thank you.